Guys, welcome to the Serial and Midnight audio commentary for the movie Home Alone from 1990. We are not talking about Home Alone 2, 3, 4, Home Alone 4, Kevin Lives, or Home Alone 5. I'm trying to think of Friday the 13th analogies. Return to Camp Home Alone. This was put up for a vote on the Serial at Midnight Patreon community. There were 4 Christmas movies that were an option to vote on, and this is the winner. So this was chosen directly by the Patreon community. So thank you guys to everybody who voted. And for this journey back through the mists of Christmas time, I'm joined by Bree.
Hello.
Bree, welcome to the Serial at Midnight Studios.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here. I love what you've done with the place.
Do you see the wreath over there on the door? Uh-huh. That's new.
Yeah.
We put that up for you.
What about that Christmas tree?
Yeah, that's there all year long.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right,
that makes sense.
So what we're going to do, we're watching the Blu-ray version of the movie, but secure yourself a copy of Home Alone. We're going to count down from 3, 2, 1. So on ours, we have already queued it up past the menu, past the FBI warning. But if you're watching a copy that you recorded in the theater with a Handycam, you probably don't have that. So just have it ready to go on the 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all be in sync. We do try to make these kind of... we did not make the film. We're not experts on the film, but we do try to tie what we're saying into what we're seeing on the screen. So it does match up if you want to watch it with the movie.
But you don't have to.
But you don't have to. So, all right, with that, all that out of the way, I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1, play, and we're going to start Home Alone. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, play. I see the 20th Century Fox logo. Mm-hmm. The big Star Destroyer is about to fly over the screen. Oh, wait.
Or the X in Fox is going to turn into the X from X-Men.
Oh, I see what you did there. Nice. Mutants. John Hughes Productions. So let's start with that. This is basically a John Hughes movie that John Hughes did not direct. This is one of the ones that he produced. But didn't
he also write this movie?
Yes, I was gonna say it sure does feel it has that John Hughes je ne sais quoi. What the French call a certain I don't know. I always loved this graphic of the home and the moon. It's like a Wolfman moon.
Yeah.
But just the I don't know. There's something very simple about this design. Here we go, about to turn the lights on. Turn the light on. You see there's the error with like the lowercase e. I don't know how that made it to production.
Is that really an error?
No.
That's supposed to be that way.
That's supposed to be that way.
Sometimes I wonder things like that. I'll look at credits at the beginning or end of a movie and I'll think, is that supposed to look that way? But I'm like, tons of people watched this and edited it, so
yeah,
surely not.
Right. So we are watching this with subtitles because Lord knows if this ever ends up on YouTube or whatever, they come after this stuff hard. So we cannot have any bleed in the audio. So we are going to dramatically...
if they're watching with the movie, they don't want to hear the movie in the background of our commentary.
That's a good point. It's just written and directed by John Hughes, directed by Chris Columbus, the man who discovered... America. Oh, that was a terrible
air
joke.
Quotes.
Yeah.
We were all thinking that joke.
So I think we should dramatically just
just describe what's happening on the screen.
Yeah. Mom, Uncle Frank will let me watch the movie, but the big kids can. That's my Kevin McCallister impression.
Oh, is it? Okay.
A little bit whiny.
On point.
Thank you. I studied Kevin McCallister at the Juilliard School of Fine Arts. Kevin, if Uncle Frank says no. So this was, you know what I'm noticing right off the bat is that
the wallpaper?
The wallpaper. That's exactly right. That's a pretty sweet wallpaper. No, but it's that this movie has kind of a haze to it. It's kind of that fuzzy, foggy. Certain movies have like this kind of... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely do.
This has to be deliberate. This has to be a lens choice. This has to be like A Christmas Story is another one of those movies.
Oh, that's true. It does.
It has like a foggy... I think it's supposed to be like, as we move through the mists of memory back to... I think they're going for like a deliberate Christmas I don't know,
Like so it
a
looks
nostalgia.
like Christmas from the past.
I guess we should just be thankful the whole movie's not in sepia tone. Sepia tone? You guys know what I'm talking about.
We do.
One of the things that I learned about this movie is that, of course, it takes place at Christmas time. Pack my suitcase.
Everyone's gonna love you just saying the lines as we do this.
There's Kieran Culkin, tiny little Kieran Culkin as Fuller. Of course, he would later go on to be Scott Pilgrim's roommate in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Also, we have to shout out, I'm just going to tip like everything that I know about this movie. I'm going to blow it in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then we have nothing to say. But Joe Pesci was coming off of Goodfellas in this movie. Both Goodfellas and this movie, both 1990. And I just think that's... one, he had a really good year in 1990. But two, like, what a combo. Like, you do the Mafia movie, and then you go do the kids movie.
The family movie.
The family movie.
Yeah, and I read that he had a hard time maintaining his language while filming this movie.
Yeah, I read that too. Mm-hmm. Wonder if that's true.
I don't know.
Can't believe...
Everything on the internet is true. I don't know what you're talking about.
You can't believe everything you read on the internet. But yeah, what I was going to say is, so like this movie obviously takes place at Christmas time, but deliberate use of red and green colors all throughout it just to hammer home the festive nature of this movie. So we're going to keep an eye out for the extra red and green.
Like the wallpaper?
Everything,
again,
clothing.
With the wallpaper.
Oh, you're pointing. You're just highlighting the wallpaper.
And let their wall color is green, and their carpet is red.
Yep.
Or their rugs, whatever those.
They
are.
live in a Christmas house.
They do.
That's the house that Santa built. So there's Joe Pesci thinking about how he wants to kill the kid. Like, I don't know. Maybe set fire to him. I don't know. So I gotta say, one of the things that when this commentary was voted for, Jingle All the Way was one of them, and I was kind of hoping that one would win because that movie has Arnold Schwarzenegger, and if you've ever listened to an Arnold Schwarzenegger commentary, you know that he just frequently starts describing what's happening on screen, and he'll be like, "Oh, this is the part where I had the sword." And they were coming at me. There were all these wolves down there. And I was just like, oh, I'm going to swing my sword. And so, notorious for bad commentaries where he just describes the action. And I thought it would be a hilarious joke if, at times, I just started describing what was happening on screen as Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Jingle All the Way did not win the poll. But maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger will make an appearance from time to time here if we just don't have anything to say. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be fun, Bree?
Super fun. I love it.
You do, yeah.
I love it.
It's your favorite.
Love it. I love it.
So there's Old Man Marley, the shovel slayer. Of course, we'll learn that that's not really what he's doing. He's salting the streets, right? But I would like to see a movie about Old Man Marley, the shovel slayer. Somebody missed an opportunity for...
Seriously, a really good spinoff.
And I think this guy did do some R-rated horror kind of stuff in the 70s, maybe.
You know, it's funny because when I saw this as a kid, I remember being so scared of that guy.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my gosh. But as a grown-up watching it, I'm like, he just looks like a kind old man. I don't know.
Yeah. He's got a sweet beard.
Yeah.
He's probably got some Pabst Blue Ribbon in the fridge.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Samuel
and look
Adams.
there. Look at him. He's just like, I've been misjudged because of my beard.
That's right. And his shovel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he's just doing a service for people.
I know.
Crying out loud.
I think that's his own yard, though.
Oh.
Is it
so
someone
he's
else's?
Not really doing a service. I thought it was the street.
Oh, was
down
it?
below.
Oh, I don't know.
There's the recurring thing, the statue getting knocked over. Mm-hmm. There's number one. Little Nero's, I guess that's a take on Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Pizza.
I believe so.
I haven't had a Little Caesars pizza in quite a long time.
No, I think since I was living at home was the last time I had one.
It was probably a sponsorship from this movie, too, right? Like, you bring in your Home Alone ticket stub, you get
Do you think
$2.
so?
No.
Because it's not Little Caesars pizza in the movie, it's Little Nero's.
I mean, it might as well be. No.
It's close enough.
It's close enough. So, this is a lot of pizzas.
That is a lot of pizzas.
$122.50 in 1990 money is like $5,000.
I thought $5 million.
The $5 million. Uncle Frank is a douche. I think we can all say that, right? Like, he's like the worst uncle ever.
Totally.
I guess we should maybe talk about some of the finer plot points of the movie. Just like people, we've all seen it, right? But the McCallisters are going to France. Mm-hmm. And they're having this big night before shindig, and they've ordered $5,000 worth of pizza.
$5 million.
Yeah, and $5 million worth of pizza. And Pesci's there staking the place out because he knows what he's going to wait for. The Wet Bandits wait for these families to leave, and then they swoop in and rob them blind. But it's just a very interesting Hughesian. That's Hughesian with an H, as in John Hughesian kind of a thing, because obviously, like, he focused on the family, but he had kind of a dysfunctional thing going on. Like, John Hughes movies have a very particular tone and vibe, a feel. Again, a je ne sais quoi, if you will. I'm just going to quote Mike Myers movies.
That seems to be the trend so far.
Seems to be what we're doing.
You're going to do the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, but you're leaning more towards...
So this is the part where Buzz is stuffing the pizza into his face. He's like, little Kevin, you cannot have any pizza because you didn't get here in time. If you had got here earlier, you could have had some pizza. And then he's going to pretend that he's getting sick. Oh, and there's the little brother, the cousin, he's getting so full because he pees the bed. That's what it would be like if Arnold Schwarzenegger was. You do not like this bit at all, do you?
No, I don't mind it. It's just that, honestly, I started tuning out because... Like you were just describing what was on the screen and you're doing your own Schwarzenegger, and eventually I just zoned out. So
which happens a lot in our relationship.
That's not true.
Okay.
Just sometimes. Just repetitive things.
Can you...
So who, like, piles all their passports up on the counter where they're eating food?
Yeah, did you notice that the passport gets thrown in the garbage? So he couldn't have gone anyway. You notice that? Like, they're one passport short. I think it's Kevin's passport. So, look what you did, you little jerk. And then no one corrects Uncle Frank. This movie is just filled with...
everybody believes that Kevin's a jerk.
I mean,
Nobody's opposed to that.
Kevin is a tiny little jerk in this movie. I mean, he has to have his redemption arc. We get it. But people treat... Like, maybe Kevin's so messed up because
he's treated
everybody
that way.
treats him like garbage.
Maybe so.
And he doesn't get to eat dinner. He comes in and there's like this fat guy stuffing his face with pizza. And he's like, oh, get a plate. I'm going to throw it up. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What about... What for Kevin? What for Kevin? They just all have like $122 in their wallet. But I guess they are going on a trip to France.
Right, yes. And I'm sure in the 90s people kept cash on them. Whereas now when we look back,
true.
Like nobody carries cash.
They would just tap their Apple Pay.
We all Venmo everything.
Yeah, she'd be like, do you have Apple Pay? They'd be like, yeah, I got Apple Pay. Here's your $2 off coupon to take to the pizzeria and get...
At least we can all still relate to the cash. What if she whipped out a checkbook? Everybody would be like, what is that?
Do you guys ever get behind the elderly person in line who at the grocery store who's still paying with a check, and they're like, I don't have a pen? That happened to me not that long ago. This person was gonna... Yeah, it was like this elderly lady, and she did not have her pen, and so she had to borrow with a pen, and she was just like, 45... Now Kevin's being banished to the attic, basically. What if it's not even a finished attic? There's just asbestos everywhere.
And where they store stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. We get to see it's a pretty sweet attic.
Yeah.
I will say this about, like, every John Hughes movie has the sweetest house ever.
Yeah.
And they're all in the Chicago area, because that was John Hughes, the Hughesian home base. That's Hughesian with an H. They're all in the Chicago metropolitan area. And they're just like the best houses. They were like the $500,000 houses in 1980, whatever.
Yeah.
And in 1990 here. But they all had like these really cool attics, and they had like really cool kitchen nooks and stuff.
I was reading about this house. I mean, like the exterior house that we see. Mm-hmm. And, where they filmed the exterior shots, and also the tree house in the back. Which, by the way, they built... for the movie at the house and then destroyed it.
Don't shoot it all in one go. You got to save it and pace yourself.
We'll talk about it again later. I'll remind everybody. But
there was like a squirrel nest over in the corner, and they're just whatnot.
Oh, but I can't remember the last time it sold, like when that was, but it was for well over $1 million.
Yeah. We can't have the official audio, but surely the YouTube copyright people won't come after me for that.
For your mouth audio. Your mouth noises. Audio.
And yeah. I'd like to think, oh, Scary Santa. I would like to think that all these John Hughes movies take place in like a shared, the Hughes Cinematic Universe, the HCU. And so like Ferris Bueller is like 3 blocks away. And Molly Ringwald is pulling double duty in multiple houses, I guess, because she's
she's in so many.
It's like multiplicity. They're just clones of Molly Ringwald all in the town. Nope. Second statue
again with
gag.
The statue. What is that a statue of? Do we know?
Is it a jockey? I'm not sure. I don't know. So this is the part where the power has gone out in the house and they're all in the hurry to get to the airport. And they're like, oh no, we slept in. We've got to get to the airport. And then this is like, they are so in a hurry. Double time. Mm-hmm. This is in their iPhone Apple editing software. You just go like 2x, and that's how they did that.
I'm sure that's exactly what they did.
That's how they did that. Mm-hmm. And they paid for that software with Apple Pay. So, what was your first... Do you remember your first experience with Home Alone?
I actually don't. I don't remember...
Let me rephrase.
When I first saw it.
Where were you when you were first touched by the magic of Home Alone?
That's a good question, Heath. I'm not quite sure. I just feel like it's always been there, a part of my life. It's so magical.
Oh.
No, but I really don't know. I don't remember.
You don't remember the first time?
No. I'm sure you do.
I don't know that I do.
Oh.
I remember seeing this multiple times in the theater. Mm-hmm. My memory is that it was in theaters for like a solid year. But I'm thinking now, as an adult, maybe they just brought it back the next holiday season. That's probably more likely. Mm-hmm. I do remember that I saw it. It's so interesting because, like, obviously we are of the age to have experienced these movies firsthand in the theater. And, like, I've done a commentary for Batman now. We've done Home Alone. We did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. All hovering around that 89, 90, 91 time frame. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of just how it worked out. Because, obviously, I wanted it to jingle all the way.
Right.
But
I don't think as many people have an affection for that movie like you do.
Jamie, I'm your dad.
I mean, I like it, but I don't know that it's as popular as Home Alone.
The Turbo Man action figure. But what I was going to say is that, like, we lived in the very special time where these movies were huge. Like, we do have current blockbusters. Like, obviously, we have Avengers, Endgame, like, that's all these records. But I remember, like, because now there's just so much. Mm-hmm. By the way, great music in this movie.
That's true.
Wonderful, classic 50s and 60s Christmas tunes. Chuck Berry, Phil Spector, the Ronettes are in here. But because we have so much now, it's a little bit more spread out. But, like, Home Alone was one of those movies that was a phenomenon. And it was the highest grossing movie domestically in the U.S. in 1990.
Right.
Not in the world, but just in the U.S. But I just remember, like, we watched this movie all the time. We didn't just watch it at Christmas. We watched it, like,
all year round.
June.
Yeah.
You know, like you know.
Just whenever you got the
whenever
urge
you
to
wanted
watch.
to. You just come, like, it stuck around, too, because I remember I was working a job in the late 90s. It was probably 99 is what I want to say. And I had I still had the VHS tape, which we got to come back and talk about the VHS tape in a little bit. But it was like 99, and I was still popping that movie on. I remember a friend and I came over to my house. We're like, you want to pop on Home Alone? He was like, yeah, it's been a while. We popped on Home Alone, and we loved it. Like two 20-year-old dudes Just watching the adventures of Kevin McCallister getting left at home.
It's great. I mean, it's really for all ages. Everybody can enjoy it.
But it just has that, like, I don't know. I feel like it has a special quality.
It does.
It has
so.
It has that instant classic vibe. It was an instant classic. Like it was so instantly classic that you don't even remember a time without it.
That's right.
You don't even remember when it was first introduced into your life.
It's just always been there.
It was deposited into your memory, and you're like, Home Alone.
Yeah. I did read, and I can't speak to this firsthand because I've never been to Poland.
You haven't?
I have not.
Yet.
Not yet. But I read that it's a big deal there, that it is shown quite often at Christmas time.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like Europe knows how to do Christmas.
They do.
I mean, America, obviously, like, we do Christmas. We do Christmas on a very corporate level. But I feel like Europe is all just like, you know, churches and bells and clocks and chocolates and...
Clocks have to do with Christmas.
I don't know. Everything I know about European Christmas, I learned from Rick Steves' PBS specials.
That's right.
So this is the part where they're on the plane, and they're like, I feel like I forgot something, and he's like, you left on the iron? It's the pumping iron? I'm sorry. I'm a little embarrassed, but not enough to stop.
Right. I do love that the parents are in first class and the kids are all in coach.
Mm-hmm. I've never been able to fly first class, but...
Me neither. But boy, it sure does look nice.
I expect it. It's wonderful.
All the leg room and the treats.
Are you just channeling the Seinfeld episode about first class now?
No, I actually had not thought about that till you brought it up. But no, did you walk through first class? You walk through first class when you go to the coach. It's like they're throwing it in your face. They're like, look at this amazing leg room that you could have if you pay for it, but instead we're going to give you 3 inches of leg room.
I like that ice. Where are the parents in this? Look, I'm not being judgmental, but so many of these kids' bedrooms have things that, like, you got kids doing things that are crazy off the wall. One kid's got guns on the wall, pictures of women in bikinis, an iced tea poster. Like, where's the parenting going on in this? These kids are like 10, 11, 12. Maybe Buzz is like 13.
I was like, Buzz seems older than
Buzz
that.
is 17 and a half. Buzz is 36. And he's living at home because things just didn't go that well.
Mm-hmm.
He's having
the haircut.
He's a late start. It's the haircut.
People have a hard time getting past that haircut.
But what was I talking about? We were talking about just a second ago. You were talking about... Oh, I was going to say, I heard something the other day. Here's a little fact for the listeners.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. If a passenger in a plane does not have to go through first class to get to their seat, there is a significantly less percentage of an incident occurring on that plane. But if a person has to walk through first class...
like somebody getting mad and...
Yes, because they see what they're not allowed to have, and it's like dangling it in front of their face, and it makes them angry.
That's
and so it increases the chances of an incident on that flight.
And raises the volatility.
Because it is kind of like dangling a carrot.
For sure.
For sure. For sure. Now, this is the part where little Kevin is doing the math. What if instead of all these Christmas classics, we get to see Frank say, "Look what you did, you little jerk." Uncle Frank is just like, whose brother? Do we know whose brother Frank is?
I'm not sure.
Is he John Hurd's brother?
I'm going to say yes. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to say so.
We're going to say it. It seems right. Mm-hmm. It seems legit.
Yeah.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Well, especially because I love Catherine O'Hara, so I don't want to imagine that.
Yeah, she's great.
That he's her brother, even though she's not playing herself in the movie.
Uh-huh.
And he's not really her brother, but that's okay.
We can pretend. I was going to say, wouldn't this movie be fun if instead of having all these Christmas classics musically, like he's like, I made my family disappear. And it's like festive music. If it was just like funk, like 70s soulful, he's like, I made my family. He's like, I made my family disappear. And then there's like a beat, and he's like, I made my family disappear. And there's like, boom.
I think that would definitely give it a different feel.
It'd be awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's like, that sultry, sexy saxophone music. See, here we go again. I'm like, why do these kids have all these things? They have fireworks, Playboy magazines, guns, It was just a different time. Mm-hmm. Just a different time.
Yeah.
A time of cash. And
Time of cash.
And not Apple Pay.
That's right.
A time of $5 million pizzas. So, I used to have some of these starting. Look at me, the guy who does like the least
physical activity.
No, that's not what I was gonna say.
Your least. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Just keep digging it. The least what?
Interest in sports.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. But I had some of these. These were starting lineup figures, and I had some. I don't remember which ones I had or where they are. I want to say I had Oral Hershiser, but I don't remember.
I don't know who that is.
So this is classic, right? This is, first of all, I want to watch the other tapes, because there's like a Bruce Springsteen VHS tape and a Rolling Stones VHS tape, and he goes for the gangster movie. Now this is not a real movie.
Right.
But
they should make it into one.
I was going to say, just like we need The Adventures of Old Man Marley, the Shovel Slayer, I really want a movie. Angels with Dirty Faces, right? No, Angels with Filthy Souls, because it's a takeoff on Angels with
Faces. That can be the sequel.
No, Angels with Dirty Faces is a movie with James Cagney. And I wanted to see this, like I wanted this to be a real movie so bad. He's like, well, I'll tell you, I'm going to give you to the count of 10. It's so hard-boiled. This is like the best gangster noir film ever that doesn't exist. And then, you know what? I'm not going to talk over it. We'll wait for it. See if I can remember the yellow, ugly yellow, no good keister off my property. Yep. Before I pump your guts full of lead. I think I have most of this movie memorized. All right, Johnny, I'm sorry.
And everybody's loving that.
Yes.
You just sang the lines.
Well, we're watching it on mute, and I'm pulling it from memory. So,
yeah.
You guys impressed? I mean, I'm just saying, you guys impressed? I'm just saying. When I finally saw Angels with Dirty Faces, the Cagney movie, because obviously this is supposed to be kind of a homage, I guess. Right. So disappointed.
Oh, yeah?
So disappointed. It was not nearly as a cat just starts drinking my glass of water.
Sorry.
And then screams. I think most of the commentaries have had cat shenanigans in the middle of them.
It's hard to keep them out when you have 3.
3 going on 300. Mm-hmm. 3 cats in 1990 currency is like 30 cats today.
That's good math. I like that.
Now, Angels with Dirty Faces was like, I think I would love it now. I haven't watched it since then, but it's a classic.
You might then.
I probably would, but as a 11-year-old, I guess, or whatever it was that I watched it, I was just like, this is not gritty at all. No one has their guts pumped full of lead. But they really couldn't do that in any movie. Like the level of violence in the single clip where he's just like filling the body full of bullets and laughing hysterically. I don't think they could do that at any point in the 30s or 40s.
Right. Probably not.
I mean, you got Edward G. Robinson and Scarface and Little Caesar or whatever, stuff like that. But I don't even think even that was like... Now, this is the part where Kevin is going to ride the sled down the stairs. And the door is open. Because it's very important. If you're going to ride your sled down the stairs, you always have to open the door.
So I read that Chris Columbus has that sled.
Oh, yeah?
And that the cast all signed it.
Really?
He kept it. Mm-hmm.
What if the sled's name was Rosebud? That's a joke. That's a reference to Citizen Kane. Uncle Frank being the worst.
Uncle Frank being Uncle Frank. That's what we should call people who are just like terrible.
Yeah.
We'll just call them Uncle Franks.
So one of the things that we read, I'm going to tell you this now in case it pops up, and I don't want to forget it. That one of the scenes with Catherine O'Hara, who I agree is the best.
Phenomenal.
SCTV forever. That like Elvis is in the background. Like people think it's really Elvis.
I read that too.
Like he would.
Like it's
I faked my death.
Proof that he lives.
I faked my death, Mama, but I'm going to be in the background of this movie called Home Alone. I really like Christopher Columbus, Adventures in Babysitting.
Is his whole name Christopher?
I mean, I assume Chris is short for Christopher, but maybe it's short for Christoph or Crispin.
Or it could just be Chris. Maybe his
could.
parents just named him Chris.
Let's just assume it's short for Crispix.
Crispix?
Crispix,
okay.
like that cereal. Yeah, Crispix Columbus. We are cereal at midnight, after all. Crispix Columbus. Mm-hmm. Please, sir, like another bowl of Crispix. So Columbus had done, so his first directorial effort was You're Messing with the Controls and You're Making Me Nervous. Bree almost just hit stop. She almost hit stop record. Mm-hmm. And now every time I do the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, she hovers her finger over the stop button. I think she's trying to send a message.
So true. Mm-hmm.
Christopher Columbus had made his directorial debut. Oh, he's watching The Grinch with that wonderful Thurl Ravenscroft song. The voice of Tony the Tiger. Mm-hmm. They're great, Mr. Grinch. You gonna get sick, kid.
Seriously. Do you want to finish your thought about Chris Columbus's directorial debut?
I have ADD. He debuted with Adventures in Babysitting, which is awesome.
Great.
And it totally feels like a Christopher Columbus movie. Or Chris. It feels like
Crispix.
It feels like a Crispix Columbus. You gotta help me. You gotta help me stay on top of that
okay.
one. A Crispix Columbus. Feels like a Crispix Columbus movie. And then he did a movie called Heartbreak Hotel, which I don't think a lot of people saw. I believe Mill Creek. It's on Blu-ray. We have the Blu-ray. I think Mill Creek put it out. And it's about Elvis. It's about these kids who are going to kidnap Elvis. So that kind of lends credence
how we got
to
Elvis in this movie.
That's what I was going to say. There is an Elvis connection between Crispix Columbus and Elvis. So we have to see if we can spot Elvis in the background of one of these scenes.
Okay.
Crispix is just a friend, Daddy. I just wanted to be in that movie to support him because he's always been there and believed in me, you know. Now, you know what I heard, Bree?
What did you hear?
Hey, Bree, do you know what I heard? I heard that Robert De Niro was the first choice for Joe Pesci's role, but that he didn't get it, or he didn't want to do it.
Right.
Because apparently, like in 1990, Robert De Niro was like the bee's knees. As they say, this is how I feel every time the mailman comes by. It's hiding under the bed.
Hiding in the bed? Really?
No, not really.
Okay.
But I guess De Niro was just his career was in too good of a place. The Rocky and Bullwinkle days were still far into the future. Now he'll just take a dump on his career like 4 times a year, it seems like. That's an exaggeration. I'm going to get a message from De Niro's agent. But I like Pesci in the role.
You like the idea of him in the role?
Pesci?
Oh, I mean,
no,
Pesci. I'm sorry. I
don't think I'd want to see
watching the movie and forgetting what we were talking about.
This is the part where they're in the airport and they're like, oh no, Kevin's home. I've lost it.
Wow, you did lose it a little bit there, didn't you?
Oh no, this is my Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh no. He's hiding under the bed.
And all the listeners are loving this.
Maybe.
Loving it.
They like when we cut up.
That's true.
We just have some fun and cut up.
It's so funny when you do that impression. It's like dual because it also sounds like my stepdad.
Yes.
So it's like
it's got a little bit of McConaughey in there too.
Yeah.
This is a part where old Man Marley comes around the corner. That's
you just got to mash all your impressions together into one.
But to Kevin's credit and everyone else's credit, the dude just stands there and stares. Mm-hmm. He's like 3 feet from Kevin McCallister, and he's just like staring at him. He doesn't say like hi or just salting the streets, Well, they're in the Chicago area, so I guess he'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Like, that's a hard thing to say with your Chicago accent.
It's been a while since I dusted it off. Can I give you a secret confession?
Sure.
This movie has like some secret ASMR triggers for me. Mm-hmm. And one of them is here where this guy's eating the donut, and like a piece of donut falls on the phone receiver, and he like brushes it off, and it hits the magazine down below. And as a kid, when I had this on VHS tape, I would like rewind it for that sound effect.
Oh wow!
Because it was just like
you liked it.
It was like this little like. For those that missed it, it was like. There it was.
Well, and my confession is I've never, anytime I've watched this, noticed that at all.
Really?
No.
I have ADD.
And you like ASMR?
Just blast it for everybody.
Well, you're the one who brought it
I
up.
think a lot of people like ASMR.
Oh,
yeah, we all have our triggers.
I'm not judging.
We all have our trigger. Look, you're blasting the microphone out. You're blowing the microphone out.
I'm sorry. You have been too with your impressions.
You're screaming so loud that you're distorting the microphone. Hold on. Let's make sure there was no Elvis here. I don't think this is the scene.
I thought it was the other airport scene.
Yeah. This is where she's...
Maybe he's working at the airport here in the background.
Maybe so. If I was Elvis and I faked my death, I would go work at an airport. Not really.
Exactly where you'd want to be.
He's got the whole bed all to himself.
Nice. The popcorny bed, where he dropped all the popcorn in it.
Yeah. He's basically sleeping in his own filth. It's probably melted ice cream in the bed.
Kids.
Cheese whiz. It smells like a dead
whiz.
body.
Yuck.
And he has to sleep in it for however long. I think this whole movie only takes place over the course of like 36 hours or something. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's not that long.
No, he was not home alone for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, long enough to have to go to the store and get the milk, the eggs, and the fabric softener. There's no way I can do it. So, I forgot what I was going to say now. I feel like I was in the middle of something, and now I have ADD.
Like, how many times are we going to tell them now throughout the course of this?
Just every time it becomes apparent that I have ADD.
Okay. I went to a
fortune teller?
panel. I did not go to a fortune teller.
That took a twist.
Yeah. No, but I went to a panel, and the very first thing the guy told us was that he had ADD. And he would say it. He said it constantly throughout the panel, like, because
did he have Tourette's too?
People
I have ADD.
No, but people would ask him a question, and then he would start to answer, and then get off on this tangent, and then he would be like, "I'm sorry, I don't remember the question. What was the question? Did I answer it? I have ADD." So.
And you knew exactly what that was like to live with,
for
right?
Sure,
you're like,
for sure.
You're like, I get you.
Yeah. I think that's why I liked him.
You're like, hey, panel guy, I see you.
That's right.
I see you. So the family's just leaving SCTV alum Catherine O'Hara in the airport, and they're just going to go have a great time in France. Mm-hmm. Doing all the things that the French do.
Crepes.
Yes. Making blancmange.
Drinking wine. Drinking champagne. Eating cheese. I'm just going to go down the list
what kind of cheese?
Stereotypes.
Hey, Brie. What kind of cheese? Brie. What kind of cheese?
You want me to say Brie?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Why would I... What? Psh, no.
Okay.
What other kind of French cheeses are there?
Now that I'm on the spot, I don't remember. No, there's a lot of French cheeses. I just can't remember right now. Because I'm on the spot.
What's in the box? What's in the box? So that poster has a Ferrari, a beer. Reminder, this kid is like 14 or 15. It's got a beer, a surfboard, and a girl in a bikini, and it says, I want it all. Oh, 1990. This scene upsets me too, because what a mess. What a mess.
It is. It is quite a mess.
If I was...
And Kevin's not going to have to clean that up.
No, he didn't clean up jack squat. Just taking money out of the secret stash. Oh, dangling plot device. What will if you? It's the old, the old Hitchcock, the old screenwriting rule where if you introduce a tarantula in the first act, you have to use that tarantula in the third act.
That's right. I've heard that. I've heard that one.
So Kevin walks outside of his room. outside of the house, and he's like, there's a van over there, but I don't know that van. Who drives that van? I will shrug and continue on my way.
Well, speaking of messes.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just inconsiderate. If you boil right down to the bare minimum, to the bare basics, they're just rude.
Very rude.
It's just rude.
I feel like they do more to make a mess than to actually steal people's things.
Yeah, they haven't even touched like the TVs or the radios. They're going for like the scuba gear, the $4 goggles that you get at Walmart.
Mm-hmm. The snorkel.
Up by the checkout when it's like June.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snorkel. That's the word. That's the ticket. Yeah, that's the ticket. Daniel Stern, of course, famously the voice, the narrator from The Wonder Years. And he was like, The Wonder Years was like the biggest show on TV at this point in time.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a cool role for him. We haven't talked a lot about Macaulay Culkin. Mm-hmm. We should.
Okay.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's so precocious.
Very. Yes.
But it works for the role because it was basically...
That's what you need for that role.
Yeah, and it was written for him. Because he tells us so. Mac, as his friends call him.
Right, yes.
He does the podcast rounds a lot. He has his own podcast where he wears bunny ears. Hold on. It's old Man Marley. The Shovel Slayer. It's coming to slip. See, I want this movie. Where he comes up behind people in the grocery store and he's whacks them with his shovel and then he drags them out in the back. Oh. Doesn't say a word. I've slammed my hand down on the glass counter and stared at you intimidatingly. Get the F out. I'm gonna kill you, melon farmer. See,
Yeah, he does give some really creepy looks.
he's
sometimes.
throwing a lot of shade that kid's way. Now, I know we're supposed to go with it and just buy into it. Like, we're all just having fun. But the movie, like, it's not like one of those things where you go back after you've seen The Sixth Sense and you go like, oh, it was there all along. Like, no, he's just creepy for the whole movie until he's not creepy anymore.
Right.
He just has, like, dead animals in his house. It's like dead cats and squirrels and stuff. Probably, right?
Sure, yeah, I've thought that every time.
Well, if you were the Shovel Slayer, what would be in your
we're going
house?
with that premise.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I would imagine if I was the Shovel Slayer that I'd probably have people's bodies in my house. Not that I would never do that, but you're just asking me to what if the scenario.
It makes me want to channel Keith Morrison to hear more about that. Oh, yes, if you were the Shovel Slayer, you'd have bodies in your house. But would you bury the bodies? And if you did, where? That was the question that this movie would have to answer.
That's right.
After the break, we'll discover where the bodies were hidden.
Hello, Keith Morrison.
Dateline NBC. Keith Morrison is having a moment right now.
He for sure is.
got
I loved him before he had
You
this
did.
moment,
You've
though,
loved him for
but
years.
Yeah. Yeah, Minnie Midnight and I are Dateline junkies.
You know, the
Love
other
that
day,
show.
this is where people get to find out things. I'm telling you this because I haven't told you this yet.
Oh,
and
okay.
everyone listening to this commentary gets to hear it too.
Ooh.
She was on the trampoline the other day, and I walked outside to check on her, and she was watching Dateline on her phone
Oh my goodness.
while she was on the trampoline. I was like, "What you doing?" She was like, "Watching Dateline." I was like, "Okay, have fun. I'll see you later."
So that's a very true statement that
Yeah.
we are Dateline junkies.
Yeah, like mother, like daughter.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and my
genetic.
mom too, so
Yeah, oh, that's totally true. It's
I think that's all she watches is
it pretty much is
murder mysteries.
just death stories.
You think of all the water these people are wasting.
You taking the conservationist view.
I can't help it.
I want the Shovel Slayer. What I've already forgot the name of the Shovel. What was it? What is he? The Shovel Slayer.
I think so.
And you're just like, I want more conservative use of water in this film. You ever wonder how they did that stunt?
Yeah.
Because that bumper gets really close.
It
to
does
that
very
kid.
close. Very close to that kid.
It's probably just I don't know who this kid is. He didn't do anything else before or after.
He's not very popular.
Probably just like a bumper on a string or something like that. Like
On a string?
Yeah, you know, they just like swing it in marionette style. No, it's probably rigged up on something so that they can stop it on a dime. But I've always wondered that. Like that bumper comes super close to that.
It is very close, yeah.
Okay, so Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, back to Macaulay.
Really
Mac.
good in this movie. Mac, as we call him because we're friends. By the way, he wants us to bring some milk, egg, and fabric softener. Milk, eggs, and fabric. Dang it, I ruined it.
It's okay.
Let's start over. Some of this stuff's a little bit broad, but he's a kid, so we're going to give him credit for that. He swings around to look at this van, and he's got like the biggest expression. She's like, huh? That's like a Scooby-Doo take. But you know, he was adorable, and everybody's like, hey, he's the cutest kid, but he acts like he's 30.
Yeah.
But, you know, so John Hughes wrote this movie for him after, was it Uncle Buck?
Yes.
Because there's a scene, and again, this is not something we've pulled off the internet. He tells this story a lot. I'm sure he tells this story, like, every time he goes to dinner, the waiter is like, hey, how did you get home alone? And he lives in France, so it'd be like, at least part of the time he lives in France, it'd be like, Macaulay Culkin, how did you get the role in Home Alone? John Hughes read the movie for you. Would you like more Brie? There's a callback to the
and
Brie.
Crepes.
To the Brie crepes.
Champagne.
I'm a sad mime. Playing my violin. Oh, I'm trapped in a box. But there's a scene in Uncle Buck where like John Candy's on the other side of the door and he's like trying to get in and he's like, could you give me some ID? It was basically being like a little, like an 8-year-old who's acting, you know, like a grown-up. And it was just delightful shtick. And John Hughes wrote this movie for that character, for that
with
kid
him in
character,
mind.
with him in mind, and then tried out like a buttload of kids. I should rephrase that. Tried out quite a lot of children. and like hundreds of children to
audition
just to make sure, that Macaulay Culkin was the kid for the job, and he was. Mm-hmm. I guess you just have to. It's a formality, but he knew what he wanted. He wanted that kid. Mm-hmm. And that's the scene, like, also in that movie where he's like, you have a lot of nose hairs. He's like, well, thank you for noticing. He's like, I'm a kid. That's my job. This, as a young man, this scene was just the best.
Oh, yeah.
Though none of it makes any sense whatsoever.
Doesn't.
That's another thing about this movie. It's like, it's real up to a point. Like, they take great pains to explain that, like, well, it could happen. You could leave your kid in the United States while you're in France. Mm-hmm. It could totally happen. But then, like, the cartoon level of where this stuff goes.
It's magic realism.
It's totally magic realism. And he would have murdered these two criminals. Like, they would have been like,
for sure.
And then he probably would have had like a manslaughter charge because they didn't have guns. So I don't know.
He was just protecting his property, though.
Well,
so we would really need to know more about the law related to that in Illinois, Chicago, and we don't.
Yeah.
So
right. I like whoever it is they're watching.
It's
a Wonderful Life in French.
Yeah.
This what?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have ADD too?
I do.
And here's Frank. Look, Frank, those are for later. He's like, I don't give a duke what you say is for later because I'm Frank and I'm going to do what I want to do.
That's right.
Mes petites enfants. That's probably incorrect.
That's close enough. As my high school chemistry teacher used to say, that is close enough for government work.
All right, we have a minor in French. How would you say that?
How would I say what?
Mes enfants.
Okay, well,
whatever.
First let me just say I do have a minor in French, but I don't use my French hardly ever. And I haven't practiced it in a long time. So, was it Mes petits enfants?
Yeah.
Great.
Hey. Speak some more
Or
French.
maybe Mes petits enfants.
Yeah, I think that was it.
That's great. Done.
Job done.
Check that off.
Yeah, this is one of the more unfortunate haircuts. You know how... Not her.
No, him. Every time I've seen this movie, literally every time, I'm like, his hair is so bad.
Probably deliberately so,
I'm
right?
sure.
Because his name's Buzz.
Right.
A 2, and then D. I think we're going to D. And D, yeah.
He's clearly the intellect of the group.
But by all accounts, this actor is like a really nice guy. Here's, I guess it's a jockey. Does it look like a jockey?
I'm not sure.
No fiddling around.
It's this guy again, too, the same delivery guy.
He looks like he's straight out of a Friday the 13th movie. Like he left
He would be
camp
the
to go.
first one killed.
He would be. Hey, I didn't get paid for the pizza. I mean, like, shake.
No, the shovel man would come.
Oh! The Shovel Slayer. Oh my gosh, he needs to be the first victim of the Shovel Slayer.
We're going to start working on that script.
Seriously, somebody should.
Writing that as soon as this is over.
What if there's like a fan film and it totally exists and we just don't know about it?
We should, I guess we'll have to look it up.
Oh man, Marley, the Shovel Slayer. Is that a fact? That was also, we have to go with the magic realism that he knows exactly where to start and stop that tape when he's fast forwarding and rewinding.
Yeah.
He's really good at it.
He practiced a lot. He practiced a lot.
He doesn't even have the counter going, so he can't even use numbers to get there exactly.
He's a very precocious child. Very smart.
He's gifted.
Yes.
He's what some would call a genius.
Yes.
One, two.
We'll just say both Macaulay Culkin and Kevin McCallister. Geniuses. We'll just call it right
Are
here.
we calling Macaulay Culkin a genius?
I just throwing it out there.
You listen to the podcast.
I'm just kidding. I was just making a joke.
It's a heck of a weight to tie around a man's neck.
I know.
Heck of a thing, call it a man a genius. Take away everything he's got, everything he's gonna have. I am on board with him with these cheese pizzas, though.
Oh, yeah?
I'm into cheese pizza. It's
Yeah.
my go-to pizza now. Actually,
Me too.
I would probably put pineapple on it.
That's true.
We just lost half the audience, but
they just turned us off.
yeah. There's like a huge controversy, right? Is pineapple on your pizza? I think it's delicious.
I don't understand. Why can't people just have what they want? If you want pineapple on your pizza, you eat it. And if you don't, then you don't. Like, that's how it works.
Because the internet, because we have to distract ourselves from death with things to talk about on the internet.
Things to get angry about.
Things to get
like
upset
pineapple
about.
on pizza.
How dare you, sir?
Okay.
Pina on your pizza? I said good day. Oh, what I was gonna say is this is ADD. The kid with the Buzz, the bad haircut.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things have come back in style from this time period, but I hope that the brush cut, buzz cut thing never makes a return.
Yeah, I don't see anybody doing that. So hopefully it won't. Now that we brought it up, somebody will do it and get it started.
Yeah, I mean, it one by one, things that I'm like, that'll never come back, right? Like parachute pants will never come back. And then they come back, and then I'm like, well, like neon green shoes or whatever. That's probably not gonna. Then they come back too. So maybe that hairstyle is gonna be super cool in 2026. Yeah.
Doesn't that bed look comfortable?
It looks super great. It's all the pillows.
It is. Makes it look really like cozy and like you just want to lay in that bed and watch TV and
Red
eat
bed,
popcorn.
Green, and ice cream and cheese whiz and red sheets, green robe.
Yep.
Green, red house.
Yeah, I do have to say, we have to give Macaulay Culkin credit for really did a good job.
He basically carries the whole movie.
I mean, he does. I mean,
And
a
he's
kid
10.
carrying a whole movie, that's crazy. Because, sometimes we'll watch things with kids and we're just kind of like, meh. Like, I feel like it's a really challenging thing to get a good...
Yeah.
To get good acting out of a
foreshadowing
kid.
with the tarantula. It is. If you look at something like The Sixth Sense, usually if you do get a good performance out of the kid, that kid's like super intense.
Like Millie Bobby Brown in Stranger Things.
And you end up worried about them outside of their film roles. They're like, are you okay? How are you able to tap into that kind of emotion at 10 or whatever? Yeah. Like, who hurt you? This is a classic exchange, though.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Totally. He's got his Stouffer's macaroni and cheese, which is delicious. Kraft macaroni and cheese. Crafted dinner. He's got his Wonder Bread. So I've never had Wonder Bread.
Oh, really?
Do they sell it here?
I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know if they still sell it. I used to have a Wonder Bread t-shirt.
Really?
I did.
Well, I'm jealous.
Well, I don't have it anymore.
Hey, what are those checks in the background? There was a kind of brand checks. They were brand checks. They're gone now. And someone's making a run for the bathroom. Because they have brand checks. 1983. That was a good year.
It's a lot of groceries for $20.
Well, in 1990 money, that was like $315.
That makes sense.
I don't think so. My mom's in the car. She's at work. I'm going to town. I can tell you that. She's changing.
That was just on point. That was
pretty close, though,
it.
right?
Exactly it.
This is my house. I had to defend it. I've always wondered how they did the bag gimmick. Always wondered how they did. Look, both at the same time. How did they rig those bags? How?
I don't know.
How?
You just seem delighted by it, though.
How?
It is pretty cool, though.
How do they rig those bags? Both at the same time. Like, are there little squibs in there? Like you set off a little like you do. Like somebody gets shot in a movie. Are there squibs on the bottom of those bags? I saw no strings.
No.
We're watching this in HD. I saw no strings. There were no strings.
See, this furnace would be a perfect place for the shovel slayer to rid himself of the bodies.
Yes. He doesn't have to bury the bodies. He just cremates them in the furnace, which is possessed by the spirit of something. They're living in a haunted house, you guys. Get out, Kevin. He's like, years ago, somebody died in this house. And they're still here. This house does not want you, Kevin. Leave the mac and cheese.
Well, now furnaces like that make me think of Friday the 13th. No, not Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street. So sorry.
A big difference, Bree.
I know there's a big difference. I'm
big
sorry.
Difference, Bree.
Clearly not at the top of my game right now.
But you
know what I'm talking about.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. I think we've just... Now is the part of the movie where Marv is trying to come into the door and Kevin is washing the dishes because his responsibilities. He is cleaning the house.
That's true.
He's doing some stuff.
That's true.
We missed the other 5 hours of dusting and vacuuming. He rented a steam cleaner from the grocery store.
Can you rent steam cleaners at a grocery store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked at a grocery store and we rented steam cleaners.
Nice.
Not Stanley Steamer Vacs, but...
right.
We did... They might have been Stanley Steamers, actually, come to think of it. Oh, I wish this movie was real. I'd like to see the rest of it.
Surely it's a fan film somewhere,
Yeah, probably.
but I don't know.
Probably.
We'll have to look it up.
This is pretty great.
Yeah.
I guess we should, again... We're having a lot of fun here. Mm-hmm. We should talk about the movie some more. Specifically... I don't remember when I saw this, but I do have this little anecdote. This was my grandmother's first movie ever.
Oh, in the theater? Like not ever or in the theater? Okay.
So, yeah, this is she had never seen a movie and she saw Home Alone and died in the parking lot.
That is not true.
No, that's not true. She's still alive. She's like 92 and she's still alive. No, but she had never been to the theater before. Because it was like a luxury. I mean, a matinee. We had a dollar theater in town for years, but movies were a luxury. So she never went to the movies, and then my parents took her to see this because they thought because it was a phenomenon, because everybody was talking about it. It was like a globe. Like again, nowadays we have a wide diverse range of entertainment. But, you know, at this age, you had a couple of new movies a week. You had 3 channels plus, I mean, we had cable, but cable was what, 50 channels or
satellite
whatever?
dishes.
Satellite.
We had a satellite dish.
Oh, hold on. Let's look for Elvis. Fat guy in a beard somewhere in the background. Oh, there he is. That's not Elvis. That looks like the YouTuber Adam the Woo. Also, he would have been like in his 50s at this point. Is that who they think Elvis is?
I'm not sure.
Fat guy in the background with a beard. Hold on. Like, we just stop the commentary. Is that who they're talking about?
I mean, I can see the
that's who.
resemblance.
That is not Elvis.
But it's clearly... I mean, it's not Elvis. He said we don't believe that he faked his death.
It kind of does look like Elvis.
Yeah.
When you get a full-on face view and he's looking at the camera, it kind of does look just like Elvis. Hold on now. And he basically keeps looking toward camera. Hey, mama, come on. I'm trying to get a flight here. He just keeps looking down because he doesn't want to look straight into the camera and just let the world know that he's still alive. Look, that kind of looks like Elvis, man.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you're like, that is not him.
I know, and now I'm like,
what?
I'm a believer. I saw Elvis in Home Alone.
Oh, dear.
Look.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Elvis Aaron Presley lives. He faked his death just so he could be in a major motion picture.
He could be an extra in a movie.
But he's like not even deep in the back. He's like middle frame. He's like right there. I mean, obviously it's not Elvis, but I do see it. That's funny. It's like the ghost, the legend of the ghost in 3 Men and a Baby. Do you remember that one?
No.
Well, we'll have to talk about that at another time.
Okay.
But there's...
Later date.
There's a frame in 3 Men and a Baby. It's not a frame. It's like a couple of seconds where they say you can see the ghost of this boy that died in 3 Men and a Baby. It's all been debunked, and there's
I was going to say, it does not sound like that would be real.
There's real explanation for it, but in the pre-internet days, oh man,
yeah,
you'd go
stuff
check
like
out
that really got around.
Yeah, you go check out 3 Men and a
What?
Baby, and
yeah,
see for yourself. But no, this movie was just so huge. What I was saying is, like, we don't have, because we have so much now, things don't have the impact, the cultural impact where, like, everybody's talking about something at the same time. I think maybe the closest thing we have at the moment is possibly, like, Stranger Things or something like that. But still, like, your grandmother probably hasn't watched Stranger Things. But
yours hasn't.
My grandmother saw Home Alone because everybody was seeing Home Alone.
Did she like it?
She did. She thought that Kevin McCallister was really bad. And she did not approve of his behavior.
That's like a theme in your family.
Yeah.
Like being sure that you know that child is behaving badly. And
I just want you
not.
to know that is not okay behavior. What movie did we go see and there was a lady next to us tisking at a movie trailer? Do you remember what that was? And it reminded me of my own childhood.
Yeah.
It was a lady just like, It was a trailer and she was like,
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Trailers they're so filthy, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't a Red Band trailer. I should specify that. Some of those Red Band trailers are filthy. But,
Right.
You know, little Kevin McCallister just starts going to cut down public property at this point.
But we can forgive him. He's a kid and he doesn't know.
He doesn't understand how civil law works.
So did we want to talk about...
Yes.
Yes? Okay. What was I going to say?
We're only 23 minutes into this movie. We have a long way to... No. What if we were? We'd be like, oh, no.
Oh, wow. This has been the longest 23
This movie's
minutes.
a drag, man.
So slow. No,
Man, this movie's kind of a drag,
John
man.
Candy.
That he's wonderful.
Well, yeah, but...
SCTV alumni, John Candy.
That's right. No, but...
The Kenosha
I think
Kickers? I'm sorry.
we both read about his long day filming, that he filmed all his stuff for the
they
movie
had him for
in
one day, and it was a 23-hour day. Yeah, I did read that. If it's true, I don't know.
Well, we don't know if it's true.
It's probably true. Yeah, it seems pretty
Listen,
legit.
we don't know personally any of the people in this movie or anybody who worked on this movie. So we can't really get
Right.
firsthand information. All we can rely on is what we've read.
Right. We bring
And
the
if
fan
it's-
commentary, and
Yeah.
we just try to have a good time
And
with
if
these.
it's not right, get over it. It's okay.
9 o'clock. That was another ASMR moment for me when I was a kid. He's like, 9 o'clock. By the way, we have not mentioned that the soundtrack, the OST, the score for this movie is John Williams.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Who is amazing.
The John Williams.
Right.
There was someone in my family. I'm not going to name them.
Okay.
It's possible they might hear this at some point. So I'm not going to publicly out them. But did not know. They knew the music, but they did not connect John Williams to all the work. Harry Potter, Star Wars, Superman,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones,
Right.
Jaws,
Yeah.
the Lost in Space theme. How about that one?
Wow.
But they did not know that all that composition was from John Williams. That it
Oh.
was one man behind all that, and still is. Still doing Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, not everybody is into
Yeah.
knowing those sorts of facts.
Right.
So we'll try to be forgiving.
Nerds
right?
like us.
Yeah.
I just like to get the soundtracks and collect them. Like to go home and watch movies and take notes about them. It's totally true. I do
That
those
is
things.
true.
I take notes
Yeah.
while I watch movies.
That is true.
I'm not being judgmental. I'm being honest about what I do.
I don't think that Santa's real.
What?
I don't think that Santa is real.
What do you mean? Why not?
Well,
Oh, man.
I know. I'm
Wait.
sorry to break that to you,
Wait.
but I just don't think that Santa is real.
Hold up, though.
Like our commentary's going to come to a screeching halt.
All
It's like,
Santas?
what?
Or that Santa?
That Santa. That's why I said that.
Oh, because
Santa.
Santa's probably still inside the building.
I think
He's
he's
the
working.
decoy Santa.
He's working at the workshop, and this guy is his helper.
Oh, and he's going to tell Santa that,
Right.
and he's got the Tic Tacs. Mm-hmm. I got the milk, the eggs, and the fabric softener, and the Tic Tacs. Hold out your little paw there. I do love, I gotta say, like, we're having a lot of fun here.
Uh-huh.
But I do love the John Hughes Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
It's fabulous.
All of his movies feel so distinct. That's what, I mean, I was kind of making a joke out of it, but it's true. Like, there is a Hughesian universe that, like, his movies all have a distinct feel. And though, yeah, he didn't direct this, but he's clearly, I mean, he produced it and he wrote it, and he was involved in the project. Like, if you're a producer, you're not just, like, getting calls from, you know, you're in Hawaii, like, yeah, get more coffee cups. Like, you're involved in that thing, too. So he does have a consistent mood and tone across all of his stuff. And
Yes.
I do love, like, I think that's one of the things that keeps people coming back to these movies. This one, you know, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, even the movies that are like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness.
It's great.
They just have such a welcoming aesthetic, right? Like, they're just so easily watchable. There's something, like, look at this. This is so warm
Warm. I was just thinking warm.
and inviting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we're supposed to be sad for little Kevin McCallister. He's making his little sad puppy face. Da, da,
He's missing his family that puts him down.
la, 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 la. He's missing Uncle Frank right about now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad he
those-
made his family disappear.
Those mes petites excretes or whatever. What is it?
Perfect. On point.
Is that right?
Nailed it.
This is the call. This is what Kevin is like at the bottom of his hero's journey. He's just really, really sad about the direction that his life has gone. He's really reconsidering, you know, like giving to charity and maybe considering a second career, starting over, going back to college. Picking himself up by the bootstraps, pumping some iron. Come on, pumping iron. You know what I'm talking, okay? This is where he runs into old man Marley, the shovel slayer, in church, waiting for he's watching those kids with, without the sound on. It's very easy to recast this movie as a horror film, and old man Marley's just like waiting for the thing to be over so he can just have his pick of his next victims.
Uh-huh.
The thing about the little ones is that they can't run very fast. They're easy to catch. I'm going to consult my notes.
Great.
And make sure that I'm not missing something critical.
Mm-hmm.
So you can talk.
Okay.
And vamp. You could describe what's on the screen.
Okay. Well, old man Marley and Kevin looked at each other.
There's so much.
And now
there's so much sexual tension in that look.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Oh, the ice is broken.
Oh.
May I sit down? Well, I'm here because my family doesn't love me, Kevin. May I call you Kevin?
Oh, that's what they have in common.
Yep. My family left me too. Mm-hmm. They're all in Aruba.
In Aruba.
And here I am, salting the streets.
Yep.
Not sure, because I thought you're a creepy guy. Well, I work real hard to be creepy like that, Kevin. Okay? That sounds good.
Woo, you cracked yourself up.
I did.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I don't have a lot of other notes here. I think we've covered most of it. I mean, there's tons to talk about for, like, our personal reminiscences about this movie.
Right.
I want to talk about Blockbuster at some point.
And we'll do it right now.
Do it right now?
Yeah.
Instead of Mystery Science Theater 3000 in this conversation?
Yes.
Yeah. When my family left, I just started chopping up the bodies. This was one of those movies that, for those of us our age who have fond memories of the video store, I just remember there was like so many copies of this when it came. It was like Batman '89 was The Wall. Dick Tracy in 1990 got The Wall. I think Robin Hood Prince of Thieves got The Wall too. But for like huge movies, there would literally be, what do you want to say, like 60 copies of the tape at Best Buy. At
Blockbuster.
At Blockbuster Video, there would be
Blockbuster.
like, this cat is, she wants my beverage. But do you know, there's going to be a fight. Like a Old Man Marley level fight. A Kevin McCallister versus the Criminals. Where no one survives. Fight. There was like 60 copies of that videotape on the Blockbuster video walls. Do you remember that? Did you go?
Yeah,
I know where you grew up. I don't remember
Yes.
where Blockbuster was.
Well, clearly
where you
it's
grew up.
not still there.
I didn't mean that it's not as creepy as it did.
Yeah. But yeah, I went to Blockbuster all the time.
I've seen the house you grew up in. Well, it was a thing. Like back then, what would happen is, what would happen is you would pre-order, like you'd reserve a tape. I don't remember how much I think you had to buy the whole thing ahead of time. You'd put on it'd be like $12.99 or something like that. And then when Blockbuster slowed down and they didn't need 60 copies of that tape for all the people that wanted to rent it, you get your previewed copy. And it came in the original VHS case. It's a pretty sweet deal back then, actually, because when VHSs cost...
Oh, they were expensive.
Man, they were expensive. Like, they did eventually get to the point where they were like $24.99 for a new release or something like that. But most of them, a lot of that stuff, I mean, it was like... In the early days of VHS, you're looking at like $99 for a tape.
That's how it always goes, though.
Yeah.
Whenever there's something new, the new hotness, the new technology, it's always so expensive. It is.
Kids with their new technology.
I know.
It's true.
But then after a while, the price goes down. So
Yeah. And then eventually, like at the end of the VHS era, they were like $4.99 at Walmart at a stand by the checkout. Just like the DVDs are now that they. It's what Patrick Bromley calls the "Here You Take It" bin. I think he's the one that says that. It's just like a bin. It's like, "Here, you take it." That's what it is. Because now at Best Buy they have. I think they have like a $3 and something bin. Wow. I know they do at Walmart, and it is. It's like, we don't want these. It's like
they're almost willing to pay you to take
almost. It's like they're passing it off like it's gum. You know, you get your Junior Mints, you pick up a Snickers bar, and a $3 movie. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where we're at with that. But I do remember, like, in the twilight of the VHS era, late 90s, right before DVD really kicked in the high gear, I was buying VHS tapes at Walmart for, I think, $5.99. Might have been $6.99, but I think it was $5. I mean, they had price ranges, but I remember, like, Airheads was one. There's like a Adam Sandler movie, Airheads.
Billy Sandler.
Brendan Fraser. Yeah, Billy Sandler. That was one that was really cheap that I had. This movie's about to kick into high gear, you guys.
Yeah.
We got that booming. Dun, 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 dun. It's a hot take on a Christmas classic. I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. This movie's classic, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. I've only seen the first two.
Okay.
And I do believe that at this point, I've only ever going to watch the first two. I know that they made more. I think some were like straight to... You know who's in what? French Stewart is in one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Are his eyes open?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's a good question. Oh, dick. That was not very good. But here's my question. Given the way that Hollywood trends work now, do you think that they might one day remake Home Alone?
Ooh, that's a valid question. I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. And would Macaulay Culkin come back to play
the dad?
Kevin McCallister is what I was going to say.
What if he came back to play Old Man Marley?
Oh, wow. That would be like full circle.
That would be.
That'd be pretty cool. But I hope they're not going to remake it. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know.
Well, the thing
what
is... What
qualifies a movie for a remake?
Brand recognition. Mm-hmm. Basically, they just wait for a generation to move on, and then they... Like, the window gets shorter and shorter now. Right. It's like... It used to be like, if it was like 15 years later, 20 years later... Now it's like if it's been a year and a half, they're like, let's redo it. Well, maybe we didn't do so good on that one. Let's try it again.
I wonder if this hasn't been yet because it is still so widely recognized.
Yeah.
And it's a classic.
Well, that's a good point because they do, like, you know, they made a sequel to A Christmas Story like a few years ago. So maybe what they would do is they would just make another Home Alone movie now and call it Home Alone, but it would be like... They would. I mean, I could totally see that happening. I hope it doesn't because I'm a firm believer in, like, look, remakes are part of life, and I get why they do them. If you can bring something new and different to the table, do it. But when it comes to cinema classics, like, don't remake Citizen Kane, don't remake Gone with the Wind, don't remake The Wizard of Oz. You've waited this long. This is a Christmas classic. I think a lot of people have... their childhood tied up in this movie, family memories tied up in this movie. What's he going to do with that knife? It's macaroni and cheese. It's just for the look.
It is. That's what I was going to say. The aesthetic.
But, I don't know.
He doesn't even get to finish his meal.
He didn't even get to start his meal.
That's true.
Not one bite of that delicious macaroni and cheese dinner went into his mouth.
That's right.
That wonderful craft dinner. But... It is something that I think about more and more because Hollywood is obviously... It's not that they're bankrupt for ideas. They just don't want to spend the money on new ideas. They want to go with proven intellectual properties.
Right, that they know people like and they would want to go see or that they would go see out of curiosity.
Yes.
So I could see them doing one where like maybe Kevin's grown up and something happens between him, like his family and his son.
Would you buy him as... I mean, he's like... He's our age.
Yeah.
Would you? But he doesn't look our age. Would you buy him as a dad? Like,
no.
You'd have to have at least 10 more years on him.
No. Well, he looks so young, too.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's our age, but he does not look our age.
No. He looks very young.
He's just a little guy. I think we also have to talk about the level of violence in this movie.
Yeah.
The magic realism of
I
violence.
had never really considered how violent the movie is.
But that's because we grew up in the era of Looney Tunes.
Right. And we're like, he's just protecting his house and they don't die. But when we watched this with Minnie Midnight, she was, how old was she? She was so little.
Yeah, it was when we were introducing her to Home Alone.
5, 6.
5 or 6.
And once this started, once the violence started, she literally had to leave and go stand in another room because it was
She
upsetting.
wanted to know what was going to happen, but she didn't want to see it.
So we had to give her a play-by-play.
But she was probably making it way worse for herself by hearing like flamethrower blowtorch noises and like
Well, and just so everyone knows, we have since watched it with her again, and she loves it.
Well, she was just little.
She was.
Now she's unfazable. It's just she would probably also like to watch The Adventures of Old Man Marley, the Shovel Slayer.
That's true. She probably would. Yeah.
But no, it's a crazy amount of violence, but we didn't think anything about it. Like, I remember much was made of it at the time or like shortly thereafter about like how violent it was, but it's cartoon violence. I think maybe it even says that in the warning now.
Right.
It's like rated PG for cartoon violence and Uncle Frank. But it's pretty hardcore, man. A guy gets a nail in his foot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that scene is still hard for me to watch, though.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's
makes my stomach turn.
Several of them are pretty rough. Like the bare feet on the ornaments.
Yeah.
That one's rough to watch.
Yeah.
But at the time, we were just like, ha!
I know.
I'm going to ask you a
funny,
controversial...
both of those are feet things. I have a nail in a foot. And
the flamethrower on the head doesn't really bother me that much because it just seems kind of over the top. I can't really relate to that, but I can relate. I stepped on a nail when I was a kid.
Ooh.
I did.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Did you have to get a tetanus shot?
I didn't. I don't know why. It was... I was a little kid, and it was... You know how, like, carpet in between rooms, they put, like, the... there's, like, a metal strip there that they've tacked down. One of those tacks was up, and I stepped on that tack.
Ouch. Did it go in? Did it break the skin?
Yes. And it bled. But we didn't go to the doctor for anything.
Oh.
You know, it was the 80s, so you didn't go to the doctor for anything.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Anybody who's listening to this who's younger than us, which I don't know, but you didn't go to the doctor, like, if something was falling
you just
off.
went for something really bad.
Yeah. You didn't go, you're like, I was also riding my bike one time. You know those bushes that have, it's not bushes, but they're like palm fronds, and they have really sticky, like really sharp ends on the ends of the, you know what like a palm frond leaf looks like? It's like long, narrow, and it's got a point on the tip of it. Yeah. I fell into one of those off my bike one time. I was riding through the neighborhood, and I was like turned the other way, and I fell straight into it. And all over my body, those little things went in. We didn't go to the doctor or anything. We just went home. It was like, just take a shower. We'll put some Caladryl on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Pretty much sums it up.
Were we tougher then or just more stubborn? I don't know.
I can't tell you.
We all survived. No one wore helmets. We didn't have helmets.
No.
I never once. Now, I don't ride a bike anymore, but I've never owned a helmet.
Oh, really?
Never. Never even owned one.
I have. Well, I owned one in adulthood.
Look away, Bree.
When I know I can't watch. Oh my gosh.
For those listening in the commentary, Bree just vomited.
It does make my stomach turn.
You were gonna say you were gonna school me on helmets?
No, I wasn't gonna school you on helmets. I was gonna say I rode my bike all kinds of crazy ways when I was a kid, and like we had a really steep hill in front of our house. But I never wore a helmet. I didn't have a helmet.
Yeah.
And I survived. I was fine.
Yeah. And we'd ride like far from we're just turning into like the back in my day.
I know.
Stay tuned for the back in my day podcast.
But I did as an adult when I rode a bike as an adult, and when I rollerbladed as an adult, I did wear a helmet. But at that point, I think I also knew a little more and felt a little more protective of my brain and my head.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're less resilient as you get older, too.
That is so true.
You know,
oh, gosh.
You know, that's for true.
Yes. But we did make sure that Minnie Midnight had a helmet and that she.
Oh, she always did. Yeah.
Yeah, like
pads.
Like
helmet.
for ourselves, we're kind of like meh. But for when it's your kid, you're like, oh, you have to wear a helmet.
Yeah, but our parents weren't like that.
No, they weren't.
They were just like, if you're gonna travel too far from the house, just be back by dinner.
Yeah.
Like
things were very different then.
I mean, I guess I would ride my bike up to this used bookstore that was like I don't know, a 15-minute bike ride away, and I'd like go shopping for comics and used books. Oh, I have good memories of that. Rambo 2, the Rambo 2 novelization I went and bought up there one time, and I read that thing in a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole separate topic. But no, I
ride my bike way far from home.
Yeah, we'd make ramps. You take bricks and pieces of wood, and you make ramps.
Yeah.
Do kids get to do that anymore? Or do parents call the cops when they see some kid on a ramp? They're
I think
call
they
the police.
do, but I think it's not quite the same in the terms of. I think the parents are there supervising. But I did read. I don't know if it's true. I was reading something that was talking about how of all the things that happened to them in this movie, that one would have been like the least offensive.
Oh, really?
The least injuring.
The one that would not kill you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, an iron on the head would probably kill you.
Probably.
Flamethrower on the head. Probably kill you.
Probably. Well, and stepping on the nail may not kill you, but like he
fall
would not be able to.
Might have.
Yeah, down the stairs. Ooh, and falling down all those icy stairs they fell down too. Like that, when people do that, that can hurt.
It is a nightmare. But Kevin is kind of a he's not a very nice kid. I know he's defending his house, but he's just like cursing them, calling them filthy names.
Well, not only is he protecting his house, but he's protecting himself.
I mean, it's true. Look, we'll go with it. I'm not being all like retroactively PC. I'm not that guy who's like, well, this is entirely inappropriate. No, not at all. I'm not that guy.
No, you're
not. That
not.
is not me.
No.
I'm just. It is true that Kevin is kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And he does have like 30 seconds of redemption at the end of this movie where he's like, I'm sad that my family's not here. But for most of the movie, he's been terrible and then rewarded for it. If we're thinking about it, like he's shopping for himself, he's hanging out, he's watching all the TV he wants and eating terrible food and jumping in the bed, and then wasn't nice to his family. He's not nice to these guys. He's not the nicest little guy.
Okay, but you can't just be like, oh, he's not nice to these guys. Well, of course he's not. Why would he be nice to these guys? Like he's going to invite them in for drinks or something?
I'm just using everybody that he's interacted with.
Okay.
But even the lady at the grocery store, he's like, ma'am, get off my back.
He did have a nice conversation with the old man.
Ma'am, you're really harsh on my style.
So I read that actually how he agreed to have the tarantula on his face for one take, but he couldn't scream. He just had to pretend like he was screaming, and they had to put the scream in later because it would have scared the spider.
I read the opposite of that.
Did you? What did you read?
That he did scream in that take, and that it was not overdubbed, and that the spider it had no ears. Obviously, like spiders don't have ears. They sense vibration, but like it wouldn't have bothered the spider, so they let him do it. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. We can't use the internet for sources. What we should do
we're just having discussions, okay?
We should just
talking
guess.
About what we read.
I think from now on for these commentaries,
we'll just guess. We'll just make stuff up about what we think happened.
Yeah, Joe Pesci suffered 4 broken ribs from that crowbar attack, and he sued Daniel Stern, and he won. And Daniel Stern has been in prison since 1996.
And he had to allow Joe Pesci to break 4 of his ribs.
That's 100%
absolutely
not true. That's the 30-year-old stuntman, right? Because there was a 30-year-old stuntman that looks like a kid. But no, I read that his stuntman was 30 years old.
Who?
Macaulay Culkin's stunt person.
Oh, yeah, I read he was a short, older fellow. But again, we don't know. We can just make up whatever we want.
Right. We should be very clear that that's not.
No.
That our jokes are not true.
No.
We're just having fun. He's cursing those guys. He's so bad. I will say there was a lady famously. You know how we went to see that Harry Potter movie and the person behind us said that thing about Voldemort that we can't repeat here, but it's gone down as like part of our lore, like part of our private jokes. There was at one of our screenings of Home Alone, there was this woman behind us, and she said, I'm not going to do the accent. We're Southern. I'm not going to do the accent. But it was the effect of, ooh, that little boy, so bad. Ooh, that little boy, so bad. And so it wasn't just me that thinks that he's not been great through this movie.
Well, listen, comparatively,
He's got an attitude problem.
He's a much more well-behaved child than Problem Child.
Oh my gosh, you bring up Problem Child. That kid's terrible.
Yeah.
He made John Ritter just about throw in the towel. And Jack Tripper is good for everything. Like, he would have been up for any situation. You want to talk about making lemonade out of lemons, Jack Tripper could have done it, but not in Problem Child. He met his match.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of those movies that we checked out. I did not see that one in the theater, but we checked it out from Blockbuster, I guess. And that was once in our house, and it was never allowed back in.
Yeah.
It was morally offensive to the family.
Yeah, that kid was bad.
Ooh, he's bad.
So comparatively, Kevin's not that bad.
No, he's not. Nothing's been destroyed forever, and relationships irreparably damaged.
Irreparably
damaged. I mean, we don't know what's up with Uncle Frank and his wife, but
I don't think that their problems come from Kevin.
Where do you stand on Home Alone 2?
Honestly, I've never seen it.
Not honestly. You've never seen it. We've watched it in our house.
No, I have not seen it.
We showed it to Minnie Midnight. What are you talking about?
I think you must have watched it without me because I don't know that movie at all.
Okay.
So I have no stance on it because I've not seen it.
Okay. Well, look, it's a double pack. There's the first one, and the second one's in that box.
Great.
I will say, this movie was a phenomenon, and we were all so excited when we heard that there was going to be a Home Alone 2. And one of the things that I've learned from doing Serial at Midnight is there are people who really revere Home Alone 2. They like it more than Home Alone 1. I was not that person, but I was so excited for, there's where the shovel slaying starts. Dead. Now he's going to hit Kevin. Oh, no. Okay.
What if Kevin ended up being his, sidekick who goes on, killing sprees with him?
That would be amazing. That'd be so cool. I just never, Home Alone 2 felt like leftovers to me. Because it's so many of the same gags.
Yeah.
But it was just at this time, it's in New York City. But there's things to like about that movie. Tim Curry's in that movie.
Oh, well, that's something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Say farewell to the Wet Bandits.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually a pretty tight little script, too, because the whole calling card, everything kind of pays off. Everything gets used. Not a lot's left dangling. In fact, I think there's a lot that they actually cut out. Deleted scenes and...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just more stuff with the family in France.
Oh, okay.
And more stuff in the basement. I think John Hughes wanted to do. I can never be sure what was John Hughes' idea and what was Christopher Crispix Columbus's idea for the story, because I think I really think Hughes was the driving force on this. But that he wanted to do stuff more gags with the furnace in the basement and stuff like that. But that things just got cut. I think there's 45 minutes of deleted scenes on this thing, too.
Oh, wow.
Which we will be launching into immediately following the movie. Stay tuned for 45 minutes of deleted scenes. I also heard that all of John Candy's dialogue was improvised, which makes sense to me.
I heard that his story about him leaving his kid at the funeral home was him improvising.
Oh, he was fine. He was fine. He finally started talking again after 3-4 weeks. What did he say? Something like that.
Yeah.
But I also heard he did it for free.
You did hear that. I didn't hear that.
I did hear that.
Interesting.
That he did it. I don't know. There's probably more to that story. But
he did it in exchange for that sweet jacket he's wearing.
It's a sweet jacket. I bet Buzz has that jacket in his trunk too, because he's just one of those things that he probably shouldn't have. It's a polka jacket with a beer on it. And he's like, "You wore my polka jacket,
beer.
Kevin."
It's so like foamy and fun.
Foamy and fun.
Yeah.
Oh, the beer.
The beer.
It's like a cartoon beer.
It does. It looks like a Simpsons beer or something. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Oompa, 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 oompa. Yep. That kid's resilient. I miss him. I think about John Candy kind of often.
Do you?
I do. Him and Farley.
Yeah.
Gone
too soon, for sure.
Peas in a pod. Two guys that just... No, they're not that they're from the same camp, but two guys that had so much left.
Right.
And just gone way too soon. Yeah, I still think about him. But John Candy died at 40.
So young.
I believe he died at 40. Now, hold on. I'm guessing. I'm second guessing myself. Okay. But he died very young. And it's just sad. All these guys, like there's just so much. He would have been in so many more movies. Now I know his career was not in a great place when he passed, but he would have come back.
He died in 1994.
Okay.
He was born in 1950.
Okay. So he was 44.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? Catherine O'Hara was 40 when he died. That's what I think I read.
Oh, okay.
He died on her 40th birthday.
Oh, really?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Gosh.
And again, they were SCTV co-stars, so they had they came from the second city, that whole thing. So they had like a really close bond. Listen, we're getting real dark and heavy at the end of this commentary. We gotta pep it back up. Sad Kevin's all alone, but his mom is home. They made it.
I love how we start all these things with I read.
I was cruising the IMDb trivia section.
I read.
We did not just look at
No,
it.
we didn't. We read a lot of sources.
I wrote Crispix Columbus, but he did not write me back.
Because you call him Crispix.
Hey, Crispix, how about some inside info, pal?
Crispix.
How about a little something for the effort, inside info,
Well, I like sharing the little tidbits that we read, even if they're not true, because they're just fun little tidbits. Well, this tidbit I read said that Macaulay Culkin still calls Catherine O'Hara mom.
I call her mom, too. But
Yeah, I was going to say, I could believe that. If you had the opportunity to call her mom, why wouldn't you?
Oh, she's great.
I know.
We got to go watch some Christopher Guest movies now.
Yeah.
I love you too, Mel. I love you too.
He did learn an important lesson in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Just in the nick of time, too.
Yes.
Lesson credits.
Well, what more would be left to do once you've learned the lesson? Then we wouldn't be able to enjoy hijinks or shenanigans.
That's right.
You just listen to more
Can I...
Uncle
Frank.
Uncle Frank.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Something that's always kind of bothered me.
Sure.
Ooh, that haircut. I don't feel like the dad is excited enough to see the kid when he comes back. He's just like, hey, there you are, man.
I know, yeah.
What's up, dude?
He seemed quite nonchalant throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
I have heard, I read.
Yes.
Crispix told me that, no, I read that Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern and John Hurd all thought the movie was not very good and that it was not going to be a success, so they just kind of walked through it. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily reflected in the performances. Maybe John Hurd's.
John Hurd, yeah.
Maybe John Hurd's. What a funny guy. You talk about your son like that. What a funny guy. You've been alone while I've been out of the country. Yeah, you sure are funny. This is why Kevin is the way he is, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. He just needs some love. He's got one loving parent. Look at that shade. It's the birth of the next Marley, the next generation.
That's right.
Let's tie up some loose ends real quick.
The gold tooth. What do you think the tooth fairy pays for gold teeth?
I don't know. I was going to try to think of something funny, but I can't.
$5 million.
$5 million. Ding, 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 ding. Like he looks out the window and he sees that old man Marley has been reunited with his family. And so Kevin McCallister closes the drapes and he reaches for the shovel. Fade to black.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Kevin. Hey. The neighbor is friendlier.
Hey.
The neighbor is friendlier to him than his dad is.
Yeah, it's true. That's
right?
True.
Oh, poor Kevin. He never had a chance. I never had a chance.
You know, he'll never forget his family leaving him, too.
Twice.
Yeah.
Happens again.
Yeah. Poor Kevin. I bet he's been to a lot of therapy.
I like my ending better with the shovel.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Closing the curtains. Again, it's a different movie. We could probably put Clint Howard in there somewhere.
Aw. Poor Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah, he knows his career.
That's true.
He knows his niche.
That is true. Giving out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Leon. Well, I think we did it. We did listen again.
Now we've got to go work on our screenplay or our graphic novel
Yes.
for the next chapter of the story.
Marley, the next generation. Old Man Marley, the Shovel Slayer. Was it the Shovel Slayer? I feel
Yes,
like it
that's
was
what
the
it
Shovel
was.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. Sound editor's Raul. Who's Raul? And he's so cool. He just has one name.
It's like Cher or Madonna.
Raul. Did you have your sound editing done by Raul? I could tell. I could tell by the sound in the movie.
We all hope to get Raul.
Oh, Raul. I think we did it, though. I think we have...
Yes.
As we say, our goal on these is... Look, we didn't work on the movie. We're just coming at it from a fan perspective, hanging out with you while we watch the movie. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let us know what you thought about it. And,
Unless it's bad, then don't tell us.
So this is the part of the movie where the people that work on the movie have their name put on the screen. Christine Minter was Heather. Gangster number 1, Ralph Foodie. I used to joke with him all the time and be like, you really like food because you're foodie.
Wow. Wow. You cracked yourself up.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And you a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
A little bit.
This is a good one.
You gotta
This is
give
a
me
good
something.
one. All right. All right.
Here's all the great Christmas music that we didn't get to hear because it was
Yeah.
on mute the whole time.
You know what? After this, let's go watch it again. And
Okay.
then we can listen to all the music.
That'll really help. That'll help us with our screenplay idea for the next generation of the Shovel Slayer.
That's right.
Carol of the Bells. And in ours, we'll play Carol of the Hells. Tragedy on 34th Street. Mm-hmm. It's a Terrible Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, you can't really...
Thanks
That
to
one
the
already has a
Winnetka Police
negative.
Department, Lieutenant Joe Sumner, Lieutenant Bill Gallagher, the Chicago Film Office, City of Chicago, the Illinois Film Office, Trinity High School Choir, Ascension Children's Choir, F. Schumacher and Company, Wall Coverings. That's the wallpaper company. That's who was providing all the wallpaper in this movie.
Uh-huh. Oh, dear.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us and watching this commentary. We hope you enjoyed it. So take care. And until next time, we will catch. Do we want to do that? We won't do that.
You already started it.
I already started it. Guys, thank you very much. Until next time, we will catch you. Say with me. We will catch
you later.
Later.